Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Kiara. If you're new here, I sometimes post renovation videos, and today we'll be tackling technically not my bathroom, but my partner's bathroom. And he thought it would be a great idea to renovate the bathroom, so why not bring both of our ideas together and do a cute little project. This bathroom is currently on the main floor of the house, and we thought it would be a great opportunity for us to tackle this. However, it did take a little longer than we expected. I think we're just slow with our decisions, trying to curate specific things, materials, both of us working. We really took our time, and somehow it took 2 years. Yep. Yes, but that's okay. Good things take time. I think I'd much rather like the tile that I choose out than not like it. You know what I mean? And I'm just slow. Let's be honest. I'm just slow with making decisions, and that's okay. I will say a lot of this was kind of like our first go at filming, and so part of the footage you see will be filmed on our phones kind of haphazardly, but it's all good. Anyways, somehow it all came together in the end, and I hope you enjoy. So I just wanted to show you the situation of this sink. It was pretty gross, so it had to be changed. Yep. This is the current state of the bathroom. It's looking pretty minimal, but we're gonna make it pretty.
That's crazy. There's just no floor there. They just said, guess what? F you.
No, you're not gonna try. No! They were already loose to begin with. You see that? Oh my god. That was like nothing. Hey. As we were taking out the wood floor, we realized that there was some water damage around the flange and toilet, so we did clean the affected areas as much as possible before going in with the backer board. This is going to waterproof the floor, and because this is a half bath, we felt that this was sufficient for a space that doesn't get much moisture. Since the width of the entrance was 24.5 inches, we then measured to size, and what you can do is use a utility knife and score the backer board as much as possible using a straight edge ruler to help guide you. This will help achieve a straight cut without using a power tool. So what I'm currently doing is putting down the tile with no mortar or anything like that yet. Penny tile's a little tricky, so you do have to make sure that when you place them down, they are equal distance with each other. So now I'm just kind of mapping out where each is gonna go. So as you can see, I've already done some. So we labeled each of the pieces that are gonna go in this order, and around the flange we cut with the tile nippers to go around the circle, and then we're going to fill in these bits right here with separate penny tile. Thank you. So at first we got these tile nippers, and that was a mistake. These were originally from Lowe's. Do not get these for penny tile. They don't work. We probably tried for like an hour to not make our penny tile crack because it just kept cracking and just wasn't working. These are thinner and I think they're just a bit more efficient. And these were from Amazon. So get these if you're redoing your bathroom and using penny tile. These were cut on this side and these were cut. Wait, so where is this one gonna go? So hard to get penny tile like perfectly straight. I can see why people don't always do penny tile. If you need to shift one, then you need to shift all of them. I find that I will have more peace of mind if I'm not trying to be a perfectionist. So what I just did is I popped one penny tile out because it wasn't quite straight. So just to give you an idea of what we've just done. So right now we're at the close edge of the wall and we've just kind of trimmed the part that we don't need, right? Just with a handy dandy. We're going to now trim the tile that will be up against the baseboards. You trim it. And that's what it looks like right now. That is a horrible sound. When applying the thin set mortar, we used a V-notched trowel that was 3/16 of an inch by 5/32 of an inch. I would recommend applying the tile in small sections so that there is enough time before the thin set dries. Even though I did remove certain pieces so the tile could be evenly spaced, you can still see some areas that are thicker. So I think definitely go in and replace the sections that do not fit properly with individual penny tile, which I did, but I guess I just didn't do enough, and remove all the pieces that do not align properly. For the grout application, we used a sponge for cleanup, unsanded grout, and a rubber grout float. The color I went for was this nice brown color in the shade Mocha. I think we winged this when it came time to applying, but if you choose to do this, I would recommend researching, obviously. Fortunately, Connor has done this before, so I learned by watching and then I tried it myself.
Wow. Don't get it too wet. You don't want it to be too wet.
It's damp.
Too wet.
I don't know what I'm doing. Sometimes when you apply grout, there are air bubbles that are left behind. So I went in with the same color, filled them in with my finger, and then obviously cleaned them off with the damp sponge. I don't mind this, but
I like this one.
I want it to be a little lighter.
Well, I mean, we can go with that. We can literally just ask them for one lighter.
Both Connor and I really loved the idea of putting molding on in the bathroom at the time, and we thought it would be a great idea to elongate this tiny little space. It really called for it. Whenever you are able to put molding up onto the wall, it draws your eye up and creates a bigger atmosphere, right? So for instance, the molding that we wanted to put is technically Georgian style, I think that's correct. And so we put longer rectangles at the top and shorter ones, smaller ones at the bottom to kind of draw everything up towards the ceiling. When measuring out the space, you really had to make sure that each piece was equidistant from each other. Otherwise, it wouldn't be symmetrical. You know, it was a science. After taking our initial measurements, we used a circular saw to cut our pieces to size. We installed one piece at a time, measuring as we went to confirm the proper cuts. Sometimes we didn't successfully install the finishing nails, so we actually had to redo some areas by taking them out and installing them again. I didn't show that part, but using a level to check the trim alignment was also really useful when applying molding. It was even the perfect width from the edge of the wall to the trim piece. And also, if you don't have a laser level, you can trace with the pencil of where you want your molding to be once you've measured it out. When it came to installing the sink, I actually found it at a restore and had the idea to reconfigure it as a mounted sink. It did take some time to reinforce support within the wall. What we essentially had to do was open up that area where we traced the outline of the sink, add an extra stud and new drywall so the two bolts that come through the wall hook onto the sink mounts. I think the most tedious part of all this was caulking all the edges, the inside of the frame and the outside, and then all of the nail holes that we created. So really we broke this down into parts. Here I'm sanding the door down so that we can also prep it for painting. So we have blocked it off and ready to paint. I think the prep is the worst part, right? You have to like tape everything off and make sure everything is ready.
Not gonna lie, it's pretty thick paint.
Tick.
Do I look cute? I'm supposed to say yes, I look cute.
I can barely hear you.
Do I look cute?
You look cute!
You don't have to yell it.
We both decided it would be sick to find a taupey pink shade. It creates mood without being too dark, and I also think it adds to the vibe of the classic design that we were going for. Because the grout color is a little bit less traditional, like if you were going for a classic design, you would probably go for black grout, but because we went for more of a mocha brown color, it adds that element of surprise. The paint color is called Whispering Woods, and it has a mauve undertone with a taupe hue.
So this is unpainted, and this is painted so far. I am loving the way it's working. It's gonna need a second coat. It was kind of hard to film while doing this.
Thing clicked in.
It doesn't. This is probably nasty, by the way, so just be ready for that.
No. For the sink, we used this 2-inch threaded tailpiece, but had to cut it down to fit our sink distance and spray painted it in a metallic gold finish. This brass colored P-trap we bought matches the shutoff valves. I'm lightly sanding them so that the paint adheres, and spraying lightly does help avoid with drip marks. The tailpiece was then installed to the P-trap by using the provided threaded clamp. After that, the drain stopper and rubber washers were added. From here, everything threads together and can be tightened. Moving on to the faucet, Connor pulled the water supply lines through and placed the base of the faucet and its rubber washer on top of the sink. He then installed the gaskets and the water supply lines and threads the assembly together. The final step is to connect the supply lines to the water. These 2 lines were painted as well, and double threaded adapters are being used to connect the lines from the faucet. Teflon tape is applied to the threads to stop those leaks. You know, we don't want leaks. Once everything is threaded together, these silver lines will be hidden for a clean, uniform look. So for this next part, I apparently forgot to film. This beautiful light fixture is kind of an Italian style, and we ordered it from CB2. It was on final sale, but when it came, it was actually damaged. So we emailed CB2 and told them, and they kindly refunded us. That was really unexpected, and just look at this light. It's so beautiful. However, we did have to tweak it because it's originally asymmetrical. On one side, it's longer. When we put it up in the bathroom, the proportions of it just didn't quite fit. So on one side of the light, we had to shorten it a bit, and that is the light you see now. So essentially we had to disassemble the fixture and then put it back together, and that was a whole process, and don't ask me if I have footage because I don't.